Hello, everyone. This is me, Spencer, yet again, and this is our final episode of Driver, which is our January game of the month. And yes, I do know it's probably halfway through February at this point, and I am a little bit off schedule, I guess you can say. But we're gonna try to catch up in the month of February. Hopefully, we'll get a short game or something, or maybe we just will take a quick little break in February. Um, and resume next month. But anyways, this is the last. I think it's the last two missions or two or three missions. Um, in Driver. Uh, and so I just kind of wanted to go. I cut it up a lot because these last two missions took a long time to beat. Very frustrating sometimes, but we'll get into that. I'm gonna do a quick review of the game as this video plays through, and I'll give it a rating at the end. And yeah, you guys can tell me what you thought about it if you guys have played it, or if you guys enjoyed watching it, what you thought the game could change or whatnot. But I guess we'll first start off with what I liked about the game. Um, so first of all, this is like the first PS1 game that I played like all the way through. I feel like I haven't played many PlayStation 1 games. This might be, one in probably a handful, probably even less. I feel like I've probably only played this game and maybe one or two others. Um, but yeah, this is the first time completing one. I will say I like the arcade aspect of the game, I should say. Like, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's not hyper realistic like most games, or at least try to be. And I wouldn't say most games, but a lot of games try to be, especially racing games. And I mean, I'm sure that back when this game released, this was pretty, hyper realistic compared to other games that were out there and the technology available. But I found it just pretty relaxing. I liked the visuals and I liked the art style, although sometimes, like in this mission, when you're in a night mission, there's not a lot of like when there's not a lot of street lights or lamps around you. It's kind of very hard to see anything going on, and it gets harder depending on some of like the weather conditions. For example, if it's raining or if it's snowing at night, like, oh my gosh, it is incredibly hard to, as I run into a bench there, which I do also like, apart from the street lights. I'm getting a little sidetracked here, but apart from the street lights, and a few in like buildings and stuff like that, everything is, semi-destructible. In the sense that you can just run into a mailbox or a trash can or, people eating at a table outside of a restaurant, and it'll all break, which is fun. But for some reason, those benches did not, which I'm not too sure why. It's kind of annoying. Anyways, but yeah, some of the night missions are very hard to see what's going on or tell what's going on. I think it's mixed with probably the older, graphical capabilities and maybe the way I was playing it. But yeah, it was a little bit difficult sometimes. But anyways, that was just a minor complaint. I can see how some people it would be like actually very difficult, but I was able to go through it, and I think it was fun having kind of a semi day and night cycle as you go through all these missions. So yeah, I'll talk a little bit about the missions now. The missions are very not I mean, yes. So some of the missions are very repetitive. Um, you know, all the missions are point A to point B, apart from the ones where you have to, you know, break somebody's car or like run into somebody's car multiple times to break them down. A lot of them are deliver this here in this amount of time, and it's fun in some missions. Other missions, it's like it's so frustrating because yeah, as the story progresses, it gets harder and harder, and the cop difficulty gets harder and harder, and um, it like it just this time crunch kind of just stresses me out because a lot of times you get to your destination like I get to this destination right now in the film or in the gameplay, but you have to lose some missions. You have to lose the cops first before you do that, and so that means okay, now I have to lose the cops. I have to loop back around a few streets, but I only have 20 seconds to do so.
What's the matter, Ollie? Can't get this lock picking.
You know, I'm not gonna make it this time, so I
Hancock
just
said
wasted
was-
this
What
whole
the hell
you know
were you
3-minute
thinking?
drive over to on this mission
said you couldn't play
because I
enough
didn't
on
lose the
Hancock.
cops.
I
Whereas
am
some
not being
missions,
mixed up in
you
this.
literally just
I got this.
get to the destination, and no matter if there's cops on you or not, you complete it. So I didn't
Never
really
pulled it on
understand
me
what
again.
missions decided to, you know, make you lose the cops versus
gonna
which
let me
ones
read
didn't
this?
require you to. But I wish it was a little bit more consistent. Honestly, I didn't mind the repetitive missions because there's always something a little bit different to them. You know, one mission you'd have to take a stolen car to a garage, and another mission you have to just go pick up these bank robbers because they're robbing a bank and they need a getaway driver. And you know, another one's just, hey, go and track down this person who got onto a subway, and you need to follow the subway and be at the drop-off point. And see, like it's kind of fun, even though it's essentially the same exact mission. Just race to this point and get there in time. And then another aspect, so not only time, time is a factor in the
I
missions,
gotta.
but
You hear none of that in there?
damage
We're
your
going
vehicle
now,
can
baby.
take is another huge factor.
You better
And
start
in the
giving off
beginning of the
police
game,
vibes if you
I
wanna
thought
get into
damage
that
was
driving seat and
kind
do
of a
this thing.
joke. Like, you took so much less damage in the beginning of the game than you do in the end of the game. In the beginning of the game, I can go through like 4 missions and pretty much not take any damage. And then towards the later missions, it was you get hit once or twice and your damage meter is filled halfway. And once your damage meter, you know, reaches the end, you cannot drive and you fail. And yeah, this is a mission where it's not about time because the clock is counting up. But as you can see, this is the final mission of the game. I am getting completely rammed by these cops. The felony meter is all the way up, which means the cops are at their max aggressiveness. And and I'm just getting tossed around by multiple cops just trying to ram me. And this was like, I'd say this is probably these types of missions were probably more frustrating than the time trial based ones because it's no longer of a how fast can I go and how skillfully can I drive to get to the destination in time. It's literally about, can I survive? And it's like a drive to survive situation where you are just trying to live. And so another thing I noticed, I'll bring it up really quick, which I think is really cool about the game, is there's alternate endings. I think there's 2 different endings you can have. I just so happened to, pick the president ending, I think is what it's called. And it's where the last mission, here I am, I'm rescuing the president from the mafia that we were formerly undercover working with. I'm not sure why we didn't tell the cops to, hey, chill out, like, I'm on your team, I'm rescuing the president from the bad guys. Instead, we just didn't tell them, and so we have both the black cars, which are the mafia, and we have the police cars trying to kill me and the president inside, which is pretty cool. Anyways, kind of lost where I was, but yeah. So the damage missions were definitely getting frustrating. I mean, this mission alone probably took me an hour and a half to complete, which on par with the other mission that took me extremely long. There's 2 missions in this game. One was, it was the first half was I had to get to a destination in a certain amount of time, which was usually fine. I can get there pretty consistently, but it was still a hard drive. And then the second leg, it was like a 2-leg mission. I had to get to a drop-off point without getting damaged too much, and that was the part that was hard, where I just kept getting completely destroyed by like cop cars and stuff like that. Because it's, and another factor is you can tell like it's snowing right now, and as if you notice in the beginning of the mission, the day is still pretty sunny and it's not really snowing that much or raining that much, and I still have pretty good control of my car. But as I get closer and closer to the objective, it starts getting darker and the rain starts getting heavier. And an annoying feature of this game is for their weather controls, or their weather, you know, how the weather affects your driving, it just makes it feel like you're driving on ice. Like you have barely any control whatsoever. And if anybody hits your car, you are skidding 10,000 feet before hopefully you hit into something that is pointing you in the right direction. And it's very difficult to turn last minute. The handling is very, you know, touchy. It's a really frustrating mechanic because it doesn't feel realistic at all. It just feels like something to, you know, kind of frustrate and make it just make it difficult, unnecessarily difficult. Which I get, they wanted to, you know, we're gonna make it rain, therefore it's harder to drive. Like in real life, I get that, but it felt like it was too tuned up, and it was very difficult. And there's both the 2 missions I struggled on were heavy rain situations. This one was just difficult because there's just the amount of carnage being had, if you can see in the gameplay here. I think I'm noticing that the gameplay is like lagging and skipping a little bit. I think there's a problem with my recording this time around. Hopefully I can get that sorted. I think it's just with the way the PlayStation 1 game plays on the 2 and being recorded from the PlayStation 2, it's just having a little bit of difficulties adjusting. But hopefully with the next game that we get, I'll be able to, hopefully it'll be in 1080p first of all, because I kind of want something that is a little bit easier to see, a little bit more modern. But not that this game looks terrible. It's just it was just after a while I was like getting a little sick of it, of the 2D pixels. Anyways, so yeah, the weather mechanics, a little bit of an annoyance, but not the worst. A little bit frustrated. Got me frustrated a lot more times than often. But yeah, just look at this damage meter just fills up, and I'm just trapped against the wall as it's raining. As I kept playing, I figured out the best path to take, and I kind of figured out that you want to stay on the grass because the cops can't follow you well on the grass either. So I felt, so you can as long as you don't turn when you're going fast on the grass, you're fine. But the cops, they can't control either way, whether they're going fast or slow, or turning. Look at that guy just T-boned me like midair, and is going flying. But honestly, so as annoying as this, as long as it took me to beat this level, it wasn't the most frustrating in the game. I found it actually pretty enjoyable, just because the intensity these cops and cars are trying to wreck you, and the amount of like funny collisions you have and just completely wreck out. It's almost like to the absurd level. Like you get hit by one car, and then by the time you finish spinning out, there's like 5 more just straight 80 miles an hour into the side of your car, and it's like so absurd and over the top that I found it hilarious. And a few times, we should get to them eventually, my car absolutely just goes flying like 10 feet into, probably larger, like 50 feet into the air, just after getting like destroyed by 3 different cars. at the same time. Yeah, so I cut through on the grass here. That I wanted to avoid the tree, but it still hit it. Yeah, but overall the game was fun. The story I did not really care for that much. I didn't understand all of the story. I kind of only understood like the last maybe third of the game. I feel like the first third was just trying to introduce you, like the whole Miami part of the game. I was like, I didn't really understand at all. But I think they were kind of just teaching you how the game works at that point. Then you go to San Francisco, which was probably the most unattractive place to look at in terms of scenery. I did not like San Francisco that much. It was kind of similar to Miami, but it's getting a little bit more difficult. The story's picking up a little bit. You're doing a little bit crazier missions, kind of cool. And then you get to LA, and that's where I started understanding. Okay, I started understanding more of the story and how things are going, and what direction the game is taking. And then you go to New York, which is where we're at now. You go to New York for like the final few missions. But I'd say LA was probably the coolest. It was like I feel like I think actually all of the missions in LA were at night, but there was a lot of lights, so it wasn't hard to see. And the background looked cool. Oh, see, look at, I just got boosted, 20 feet in the air. This time I landed it, and then I think I managed to squeeze through here. Nope, I did not. Yeah, one mistake like that, like I just hit the wall, now I'm toast. Like, I'm not getting out of this. But I wonder how many times or how many attempts it took me. Because like I said, I cut out probably like 3/4 of the attempts, at least on this mission. I think this whole, from start to finish, this mission that I'm showing you guys is like, 20 minutes long. And like I said, it took me like an hour and a half of straight gameplay to try to beat it. And in total, I'd say the game said it was probably gonna take about 12 hours to beat. I'd honestly think I was probably a little bit faster than that. Because I was, for a while, like probably for the first half of the game, or like 70% of the missions I had, I was completing them first try pretty consistently. It's not a very difficult game in the majority of the missions, but some of the missions are obscenely difficult, and that's like kind of, it doesn't like warn you or anything. It's just one mission, super easy, or 4 missions in a row, super easy, and then the next mission incredibly hard, like frustrating. And I think that's kind of leans into the part that like made me a little bit annoyed about this game a little bit, is it just felt unnecessary or just random. The like amount of times the difficulty just scales up. And I did notice though that the really difficult missions were the ones that were pivotal to the story. All the other side missions that you take throughout the story, or not pertaining to the main story, kind of side quest-ish, were the very easy ones. But it just gets you in the mindset like, oh yeah, I'm breezing through this. This is fun. This is cool. Like I'm flowing right now. We're getting through the game, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're stuck on this mission for an hour and a half because it's cheesy mechanics and it's incredibly difficult. But overall, I am glad that I played it, and I do eventually. I don't know when, or I don't know where, but eventually I do want to complete the other last mission, the other story ending, just because I want to see what that last mission is, and if it's look how high I just get like bashed up in the air. And I land upside down. So when you land upside down, there's no way to right yourself up like you were done. Yeah, I want to finish the other story ending just to see if that last mission is as chaotic and crazy as the first one, or as my first playthrough here, the President's Run. I don't know when I'll tackle that. The annoying thing is, when so you save the game pretty frequently, and it's like you have, I don't know, 10 different save spots that you can use to, you know, save the game and then go back to previous saves or previous missions or stuff like that. Well, me being stupid, I put all of my I overwrited all of my saves onto one save slot. Therefore, my last save is the last mission. And the way you alter the end of the story is like 2 missions prior to that. So if I want to get the other ending, I'm gonna have to play the whole story through again and then choose the different mission path, which will be kind of annoying. I wish I kind of wasn't stupid, but now I know for the future. Just might as well just use all the save spots. I don't know why I keep accidentally saying slave. Sorry about that, awkward. But so overall, I'd probably say the game's probably a let's rate our games out of 10. I'd say 10 is a broader scale. I can kind of narrow down a little bit more accurately my opinions of the game. I'd probably give it a good 6.25. That sounds pretty good. I liked the majority of the gameplay. I liked, honestly, I did like the style, the vibes. I love the music of the game. That's another thing I didn't talk about. The music is so fun and catchy, and it changes depending on where you are in the country versus, like, you know, Miami versus San Francisco versus New York versus LA, and it's each one is like different but the same, and it's fun listening to the different variations of the soundtrack depending on where you are. I can't remember, is this the one that I completed in? I'm doing pretty good here with low damage. I wonder if I completed it. And this one I still have a few more attempts. Anyways, yeah, so I overall I enjoyed it, to the point where I would probably play it again to get the other ending, and that's why I'd say I'd give it a 6. I feel like anything below a 5 I do not want to play again, and anything above a 8 I'd say is probably my top 100 games, or, you know, is a top game that I will play, that I will keep coming back to play. You know, I'm not gonna keep coming back to play this game regularly, or, like, you know, every 3 years coming back to play this game. Not my jam. But it was fun while it lasted, I guess. I think I do complete it. Yeah. You see, this is another one where thank God I didn't have to lose the cops, because I would have actually, like, cried. But yeah, you literally just go into the parking garage and you complete the mission, thank goodness. But yeah, that was the final mission complete. And as I was saying, total or expected playtime was probably about 12 hours. I probably did it in about 10 hours total. I did cut out a lot in these videos, probably almost half of each video I cut out. So if I posted 2 you know, 1 hour videos, then those were 2-hour videos, and I just cut out a bunch of the attempts that I failed at. Yeah, this is the final sequence. I guess I'll be quiet. You guys can listen in on it.
We got him. Sir, you okay?
Uh-huh.
We got him. Tanner, Castaldi, Hancock, and Vaughn. We got them all. Take your badge back now, Tanner.
How much of the FBI did Vaughn drag down with him?
It's gonna take some time for us to shift right through all this. Meantime, take your badge back. Take it. Tanner! yourself back here, Tanner. Now you come back here and you pick up this bag. Tanner, you just bought yourself a whole lot of trouble, fella. This is your last chance, Tanner.
And there he goes. He runs away. I don't know if this leads into Driver 2. It probably does. Or the second Driver. I don't even know what it's called. I assume it's Driver 2. And we're just driving away here in a cool Jeep. But yeah, I mean, 6.25 will be my final rating. I enjoyed it. I think it was a fun glimpse into the PlayStation 1. I know that there's probably a handful or probably a dozen other games I actually want to play on the PlayStation or on the first PlayStation that I want to get to. But we shall let the wheels decide what the next game is next month. And let me know what you guys thought about the game. Let me know if there's anything else you wanted me to cover. I might do another reflection on this game in the future. But expect in the next episode for us to spin the wheel and get through the tutorial and intro of whatever next game we pick. Thank you for watching, and see you guys later. Bye.